Let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, people wanna hate every day, it's okay.
All right, welcome back, Reckless Success. Tonight we have my beautiful wife, Lesa.
Hello.
Everybody loves Lesa. And it has been a while since we've done a podcast, so welcome back.
Months and months and months.
I don't even know if we've done one in 2025.
We haven't. We did record one after Chad and Jesse's, a very short one, but then we were so busy I never had time to edit it and get it out. So we actually have one I never put out, but we haven't recorded since probably like November of last year,
Right,
which
so
is crazy.
it's because we've been busy. I know winter time's supposed to be our slow time, but it seems like we were just busy
yeah.
right through winter and right into this year. So I don't even know. We were doing those jobs last year is where
Yeah.
we left off probably.
So we wrapped up we had a 4 projects start last November all at the same time. So it was chaos. We talked about that in the fall. And then we have some we're still finishing up because they were bigger projects. And when winter came in, eventually like all the snow and ice was too much to continue. So we had to pause them. And we're finishing up. We finished up the one up north in April, and we're finishing the one up here locally soon.
We've had a hell of a rain season.
Yeah.
It's July 20th or something
Yeah.
and still raining every day, it seems like. So
It never, like, we've been in excavation in our business for 8 years, and never has it rained this long in a summer. Like, I think usually it's like May, it's starting to lessen up. Like, we always said, like, they say April showers bring May flowers, and you're like, no, it's May showers bring June flowers. But still, we could start our work back pretty well in May.
mhm.
And this year, I mean, all the way through June, it was cold, it was raining, everything's soaked, and it's still raining like every day almost. Like, I feel like we're in Florida.
We've had sideways rain that comes in from up above, it comes from below. It's crazy. The other day we had 2.5 inches in like 30 minutes while we were on the job site in a swamp pretty much.
Mhm.
So we've been working and making it through, but it's definitely just now getting to work season, it seems like.
Yeah,
Being August, it's a little
that's crazy.
scary, but we've got a lot of work lined up. We have won some good jobs. We've got one coming up in Litchfield, and then after that we got to go to Kansas.
Yeah.
So we'll pack up our bags and head to Kansas for a 20-acre clearing project at an airport.
hmm
So that's good.
And that's one of those things like we've always talked about, like we're not afraid to travel a little bit, just like when we did the project up closer to Chicago last year. And that's not ideal or what we want to do, but it's like when you're in a small business and I mean, I guess you're always growing, but we're still a small business. So if there's not enough work around here or people are bidding super low and winning jobs where you're like, there's no money to be made with that, like you've got to expand your horizons. So that's why we would go bid in Kansas, because to get to Kansas is like just as long of a drive as going to Chicago. So
Yeah.
for us, we're like, we can do that job. Let's go. Like,
Right.
who cares? Let's
And
do it.
compared to what they bid around here, that job bid pretty good.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't have been able to bid clearing for what we bid it there. And then it turned into mulching. So instead of clearing it all, at first we had to haul it all off. Then they changed it to where we could mulch it on site. So that's going to help that job a lot.
Oh, and so because of that, we bought a mulcher
Yes.
that
So,
I've yet to see because it didn't go very well day one on the job
yeah.
tonight.
So we got this job, and then my brainstorm ideas, I'm like, well, now we have to have a dedicated mulcher, which is like a Fecon head mulching machine. Just chews trees up. It's got a bunch of knives or carbide teeth that'll just chip it up. And typically they go on a skid steer. You can buy one for a skid steer, which we have multiple skid steers, but I wanted one bigger just because bigger is better. So I got on an auction site, found a dedicated 200 horsepower track machine that's got a 84-inch Fecon head on it. So we won the bid. I was hoping I would get it for like 30,000 maybe.
Auctions are a ripoff, not a ripoff, but like it's like gambling. Like you go in and Jesse and I will decide like this is the max we will spend on this piece of equipment or this building or whatever we bid on. And every time we've done an auction, we're like, we can't stop. Like,
Yeah,
do
it's
5 grand more,
addictive.
do 2 grand more.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And then we spend way more than we planned. And we're like,
Right.
gosh, dang it. Like,
So I was thinking 30,000 and it ended up getting up to like 60, and then I had to pay another 5, I think, or maybe
it's like the
seller's
premium, whatever
premium
it's
or
called.
something. So we get this track machine. It looks like a snowcat with a big Fecon head on it. And we had a project to do that had 2 acres of clearing on it. So I was like, this is perfect. I'll pick the mulcher up in Missouri, like 5 hours away or something?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Take it straight to the job. excuse me, take it straight to the job. And I get it to the job. This thing's pretty nice. You know, it's got this big head on it. I'm like, all right, it's heavy, the machine. So I get it back to the job site and it's late at night, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I turn it on and I mulch like 1 or 2 trees. Works great. Next day I come to work, get in it, and within 5 minutes I blow a hydraulic line. Happens all the time. So I replaced the hydraulic line and put 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid in it, but my tank doesn't have a view glass or a dipstick, so I was kind of guessing. And I put 5 gallon in it to drive it up out of the woods where it was at, so I could add more, probably because I was being lazy and didn't want to carry the 5 gallon buckets down
Right.
to it. And in that process, I burn up 2 hydraulic motors that make it track. So from the job that I just started, I had to load it back out. I just had it mobilized in.
Mhm.
This thing will barely steer. It's just clicking. So we sent it to the shop, and just for the 2 pumps, it was another $17,000. So just
Yeah.
blowing a hydraulic line turned into probably a $24,000 to $25,000 fix.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the exact same machine as it was before
Right.
I'd done that. So I
Live and you
had
learn.
65 in it. We'll probably be up closer to 90. So I might as well just bought one that was in better
Mhm.
condition. I've done this multiple times and I don't learn my lesson, but
Well, didn't you say typically if you like when we blow a line on any of our other tractors and you add 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid, that's plenty to get it where, drive it out of something or like move it. But this machine for some reason needed so much more and
yeah,
you didn't realize it.
what had happened is when I blew the line, I guess it ended up taking 50 gallon. So I was like
That's
a
insane.
tenth of what I needed.
Yeah,
Most of our stuff might hold like 20 gallon. That's a big
right.
tank.
It's big.
And when it busted the line, I guess the belly pan had so much dirt in it, so all the oil stayed up in the machine and I couldn't see it. Like usually it pours out on the ground
Mhm.
and I'm like, kind of look at it. Well, it's about 2 gallon. This one, it didn't do that. It stayed in the belly pan, so I didn't realize I had lost that much.
Yeah.
So that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And
So Southern Illinois, or no, I think it's just Southern Equipment Repair.
mhm,
Our friend James is gonna fix it, so he ordered the parts and we have to get with him. We're supposed to get with him this weekend.
were we?
Or he said it might be this week when I called him. Anyway.
Okay.
So he's gonna fix it, but he had to order these parts that take like 4 weeks to get in, so it's all right.
So Lisa's got like 95 grand wrapped up in this thing and has never seen it.
Yeah.
And it's been months that
But
we've had it.
everything happens for a reason, so it'll all work out. I bet it'll be a boss machine once it's out on a job.
I hope. I hope so.
I hope
If
so.
not, I feel like after putting new pumps on it and a paint job, I could probably easily get my money plus some.
Right. Just sell it
So
if we don't need
we
it.
won't be hurt on it.
Yeah.
So there's that. We have completed one DNR project already. Actually, a few. We've done a sinkhole in
Yeah.
Spillertown. We've done Panther Creek, which was, I can't remember how many yards of dirt, maybe like 13,000
I don't
yards of
remember.
dirt. It's a pretty good little job. And now we're getting ready for Litchfield. So it's just one job to the next, trying to keep everybody working. We hired a couple new guys. They're both doing great.
Hmm.
The newest guy we had, he's really hungry, seems like, so he's working
Yeah.
hard.
He runs everywhere.
Yeah, he runs everywhere. I'm gonna take
He's a hustler, which is a
I'm
good
gonna
thing.
take a video of this guy because I'll be like, hey, come here and bring me something. I might be 1,000 feet away. This dude will run all the way down the haul road to me, hand it to me, and then
I
run
love
back.
it.
I love
He's
it.
not lazy at all. And he's got a
Yes.
lot of other skills. So like there's other businesses that we're involved in that he's been able to kind of help out with other
Right.
skills that he brought to the table. So that's cool.
Which we don't want to tell you about yet because we don't want to give you everything that's happened in the last 6 months in one episode. But we do have big news because we're always hustling and doing
Yeah.
new things. We'll save it for the
Expanding.
next episode. You'll have to come back and hear that.
Yeah.
But for this episode, one crazy thing that happened was we started this project back up that we're working on now. Hadn't been there since last year. So I come out there one of the first days that I'm back out there working. I'm in the back of a field over a hill and by a wood line. And it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, a couple weeks ago, or what, a month
A
ago.
month, yeah.
So I pull up in my truck. It's a 2019 Duramax LTZ,
It's Jesse's baby. Like
my
he
baby.
had the white Duramax that he loved so much, but then it was having
Injector issues.
injector issues. And at the time, like you couldn't get a rental car. The mechanic that worked on it was like 6 weeks out. And so me and your dad went on like a fly by night trip. Remember, I went and found this black Duramax to
Hmm.
replace that truck. So Jesse loved this truck right away, put all this money into it to make it exactly how he wants with the lift kit and the rain guards and the fender flares and all the things. So he loves this truck. And
Baby, it
yeah,
never have I gotten on this truck just, doing burnouts or anything. So I get to work. I'm by myself. We haven't had a presence there in 6 months at the job site. And I pull up and I always take my keys out of my truck. I've never left my keys in my truck in my life, I don't think. And I pull up and I look around and I can't see a road or a house. I'm just out in a field. And I think, well, I'm only going to be here an hour. I was working within 200 feet of my truck and I looked at my keys and it went through my head, somebody steal your truck. And I was like, not out here. I get out, I leave my keys. I go in the woods to work and I come back out at 9:30 in the morning on a Tuesday and my fucking truck was gone. And it's one of those things where you're like, I know I parked right there.
right.
Somebody messing with me, and I come tracking out of the woods and I look and I can see the burnout marks where my truck was, and then I can see four-wheeler tracks coming through the grass that went straight to it.
It's someone's
So
lucky day.
some lucky meth head was just early morning driving around this field and pulled up on a Duramax sitting there, just sitting
They
there
must
with
have been
keys
so
in it.
happy. Like that must have been the biggest score they've ever had.
Yes,
To drive a
for
truck
sure.
that nice.
The cops said that somebody had stolen a four-wheeler that morning one town over. So I'm kind of
It might
thinking
have
they
been the
probably
same.
stole a four-wheeler and then stumbled upon this truck, stole it. So I called the police and I'm like, pacing back and
What's
forth.
funny is that, not to cut you off, but like Jesse and I talk literally probably between 30 and 50 times a day because we work together. So like we're constantly on the phone for 30 seconds here, a minute here, work stuff, a little personal stuff mixed in. But like we talk a lot and we definitely prioritize like answering each other's calls when we can or calling right back because it's just you never know if it's like something big going on at a job that I need to handle something, he needs to do something. So we're good about that. And that morning, I was getting quotes for pipe for a job we were bidding, and I had been having like a heck of a time getting a hold of this company to get their quote back. And you called while I was talking to him, and I'm like, I'll call him back. And then you called again, and it crossed my mind like something might be wrong. I'm like, no, I got to get this quote. So I'm like talking to that, I keep talking, and then me and dude hung up, and then another company called me back, and I'm like, Jesse will be all right. And then you called again, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep getting this quote. And I texted you and like, I'm getting pipe quotes. I'll call you back. And like not knowing he's like trying to tell me his truck got stolen, and he's
I'm
like,
like, pacing a road. I
like,
call
I'm
and you
busy,
don't
sorry.
answer.
Yeah, but I was like, I have to get these quotes. I didn't know at the time, but yeah, and then you finally texted me. My truck just got stolen, and I was like, what? So then I called you back. But anyway, so you called the police and county came.
So county came and I remember that. So I have OnStar in the truck, but I never activated it. So I call OnStar. They won't even let me sign up a new subscription, which I think is crazy. I think they should be like $100. We'll
Well,
activate it to shut off your truck
they
if it's
said
stolen.
that I called. They said they couldn't do that. Like they said because you never even like if you had activated it at some point and canceled it, they could, but we never even signed you up. So they were
Right.
like, we can't even get in. Like there's no way. And luckily I have like our VIN number stored, like I keep all that stuff. So, but then we called, oh, I called the dealership that we bought the truck from to see if they had ever activated OnStar. Like I was like doing everything I could to try to track it. And then his iPad was in there. So luckily, the kind of relationship we have is like Jesse and I will be all up logged into each other's stuff at all times. Like there's no secrets here. You want in my email account? Like I know all his stuff. I pretend to be him half the time because he's too busy to respond to people. But like, so he's like, Lisa, like find my iPad. So I'm like, I don't even know your Apple login. So of course I guess it because I know him. And so I get in and the iPad's dead. And I'm like, gosh dang it, like it's dead, so it won't track it. But then the dummies plugged it in the truck while they were driving to charge it. And so then it like came up on the computer, like I knew where it was. And so I tried to call the sheriff's department because I didn't want to call 911 because I feel like
Right.
I was like weighing that in my head. Like, is this an emergency? Like, what if someone's dying, But then the sheriff's office is like, press one for this, press two. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. So I called 911. And literally, it actually has freaked me out because I have like nightmares sometimes that I need to call 911 and I can't get through. or like just, it just won't work.
Mhm.
And I've never had to call, thank God. But I called and I'm telling the girl, like, our truck just got stolen. I found it. I know where it is right now. Like at this moment, can you tell like the officers like put out a dispatch like to go to this location? They are there. Like it just turned on. It's there. She's like, that's actually, where is it at? And I was like, Thompsonville. She's like, that's not this jurisdiction. Let me transfer you. I'm like, ma'am, like, I was like, just forget it. Like, like I'll freaking call someone else. Like, like it was just this long drawn out thing. And I'm like, I'm telling you where it's at. Like, here's the address. And I felt so frustrated because it was like not helpful.
Right.
It wasn't helpful.
So Lisa's telling me that she's tracking it on the phone, and the cop pulls up, and I'm trying to like middleman from her to him. He's like, let's just go to your office. It's just down the road. So we went to the office. We look at the computer to see where it's at, and the cops go there. But when they get there, they just find the tablet behind a tree in a Ziploc bag. So they didn't just throw it out the window.
The fact that thieves had a Ziploc bag on hand to
Cooking
store
meth,
this thing in.
Probably.
That's
I always
crazy.
I always had Ziploc bags when I was
That's
cooking meth.
insane. Like in their back pocket. Like that's just crazy.
It's usually in a meth backpack.
Oh my
Is
God.
what we used to prefer to carry it. Ziplocs in.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, they used one of their meth Ziplocs, and they had blue gloves.
Yeah,
with
they
them.
had like all these supplies, like little
Yeah.
thieving meth cooking supplies with them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So truck's gone. I'm calling Lisa. I'm like, truck's gone. I've got to have a truck because we had a trip planned like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Thursday, or was it Thursday? Yeah, we were leaving
this was a
Thursday, and this was a Tuesday.
And we have all these jobs going on, so Jesse we can't be down a whole truck that hauls, equipment and stuff. Like,
Right. Plus,
not
I'm a
gonna
little spoiled, I would say. But anyways, so not knowing, I went straight to the dealership because I got to have a truck, and was looking, and I wanted a GMC.
But wait, we didn't finish the whole like theft story.
Well, we're gonna get back to it.
Okay.
So I wanted a GMC because this was in the middle of the day. This is while the truck was still gone.
Yeah.
And I looked at the Denali's, didn't like them because they sit too low and they're so expensive. You would have to put like 15 grand in them to make them look like a big boy truck instead of a little grandpa truck. So then the guy's like, well, I do have an AT4X out back. So I was like, show me that. And it was like the truck of my dreams. Haha.
Yeah. the light
Beautiful.
shine
Already had a
down.
lift kit, had the tires, GMC, top package. So we bought that truck. And then the cop calls me. He told me, he was like, I'll have your truck back today. Well, they have license plate readers in our county. So as the truck was leaving the job site, they kind of tracked it to the next county, which was Franklin County. And that's where they threw out the tablet. But once they got to Franklin County, they don't have the license plate readers, so they lost track of it. I told the cop, I'm like, that truck's out in a field somewhere stuck. You won't, hopefully, and from my point of view, you won't get it back because once it's gone, it's like a girlfriend's been cheating on you. Just keep her. I don't want it.
It's tainted now.
It's tainted. Yeah. Like I babied that truck. And there was people on Facebook, like, because right away, Lisa makes an ad. If you see this truck,
And people were so great. Like hundreds of people were sharing that post and like trying to give tips and like messaging me.
Right.
I love the community involvement of trying to find this truck. People were awesome.
Right. But they were saying that like they saw it getting on the interstate, leaving black marks all the way down the ramp. And I'm like, ooh.
Flying around
Yeah.
crazy.
And they were wondering why somebody with the truck like that would be driving it so crazy. So the cop calls me that night at like 9:30 and he's like, hey, we got your truck back. And I'm like, oh, damn, is it burnt? And he's like, no, they didn't do too much damage. I'm like, you're killing me, dude. How do you know they didn't do too much damage? And it was stuck out like a power line easement where the power lines are, they clear them. And it was like down one of those, stuck in a ditch. So they had been off-roading it, had been doing all kinds of crazy stuff with it.
Then you say it shouldn't have been able to get stuck though. They were just too stupid to know how to like engage the.
Yeah, they put it in four-wheel drive, but they didn't do the traction control, which locks the differentials. So they only had two-wheel out of four-wheel spinning. So that's how they were stuck. Like 2 tires were muddy and 2 tires were clean.
But they got stuck. The suspect, who hasn't been arrested yet, he got stuck near his house over in Pittsburgh. Like it wasn't far. And this one gal on Facebook messaged me. She was one that called the police that saw it stuck. And she was like, I bet it's this guy, and gave me his name. She's like, he doesn't live far from there and he's a big thief. I was like, is that on this and this road? And she's like, no. And she sent me a picture of his trailer and was like, it's on this road. And I'm like, this is my kind of girl. Like, I'm a sleuth. Like, I'll find out some info. So then I'm like, what else do you know? And she's like, oh, his mom lives over on this street and he has a girlfriend who's pregnant. I asked a friend of ours who's a cop, should I offer her $50 to find out the name and address of the girlfriend? But they didn't respond. So I felt like they were like, no, stop what you're doing, Lisa. But it was cool because she was like trying to help us. And
If it was 20 years ago, because like right away we start getting information on who it probably is. 15, 20 years ago, I probably would have kicked in their door, tied them all up, tortured them, who knows. But I just don't have that in me right now.
Well,
Unless it's
instead-
something that really pisses me off. At this point in life, I can just pay for people to do that type of stuff.
Well, you've matured a lot. And I even said, I was in a rage. Like I was really, and I don't do, like I wouldn't go kick in the door myself, but I was like
She'd
that
drive.
angry. I'd drive through the door. No, but I was so angry, like you feel so like violated to have your stuff you work so hard for stolen and these losers, thieves driving it around. But so I was getting this information and I'm like telling Jesse and he's like, chill. Like we're not gonna go over there. I'm not gonna show up at these people's house and kick the door in, Lisa. He's like, I've got too much to lose at this point in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so proud of you and like how you've matured. And his response was, he like sat there for a minute and he's like, I mean, I can get dark real quick if that's what you want. And I was like, no, like don't go dark. But I'm like, what a mature response because it's like you do have too much to lose to go beat up a bunch of meth heads.
She
Like,
thought she'd hung up the phone. She's like, okay, bye. And she thought she'd hung up the phone. I heard her go, pussy. No, I'm
no, I
joking.
would never.
I'm joking.
I would never. And that's the thing. It's like it's a truck. It's like not like they hurt me or our children. Then yeah, Jesse and his buddies are probably gonna be showing up. And that's what like some of his family members, his cousins were laughing. One of his cousins was telling me because we went on a family trip with all of them. Like a few days later, she's like, I was saying like they missed the wrong family because you're gonna have 14 people showing up tonight. Like if Jesse called and was like, all right, everybody, let's
Have
go.
we told the story about Dad and Mason when the meth
I
head?
think so. I think you and Justin did.
Golly, yeah, we've had this happen before where a meth head had
It's like
accosted my
threatening,
dad
yeah.
while he was leaving his driveway with my son with him. So
Yeah.
like the whole family goes up there and we surround this trailer and they did not want none. They wouldn't come
No.
out. Every time I seen the guys afterwards, they'd scatter like roaches.
Which they should. But that's
Yeah.
like it is nice to have family that will support you, but we're such a law-abiding family now that we don't react that way.
Not all of us though. Not all of us.
So we got a couple
We
stragglers
got
out there.
we got a couple black sheeps in the family still.
But yeah, so I guess that was Williams County Sheriff's Department was great.
hmm
They literally were on it. I feel like they were doing everything they could to find this truck and like keep us in the loop and just getting a list of all the stuff they stole from inside of it. It's funny, they stole like a McCoy beanie that like I probably got for free when I was at McCoy one time that was in the truck, but they didn't take Jesse's $150 pair of Oakley sunglasses. Like
Right.
that's so funny. Like
Or, like,
what?
There was just a bunch of stuff that I thought they would take, and they took like the wheelbarrow and chains and the binders.
They did get a lot of tools though too, but
Yeah, they got some Milwaukee tools. I don't know. They took a bunch of stuff and left some stuff. I thought they would have took it all.
right.
And like my black back floorboard probably had this much stuff across it, just tools, and it's completely clean. Like there's nothing in it. They probably took the wheelbarrow over and
Right,
dumped it all
loaded
in there and
up.
pushed
When they
it
got
home
stuck,
after
they're
they
like,
got
"Oh, good, we've
stuck.
got a wheelbarrow right here.
Yeah.
Load it up." But then they also took our garage door openers to our home and shop, which had me totally freaked out.
Because we were leaving 2 days later.
Yeah, well, and because we freaking live here, like even though we
Right.
have like a security system and cameras and all that stuff on everything, like it's terrifying to think like they thought to take that stuff, you know?
Right.
And so luckily Anderson overhead door was awesome. I called them like that day when I realized they stole those and they got someone out the same day to recalibrate it. I was like, I'm totally freaked out that they had like a plan to come to our home because why would they take those? And they got it here right away. We got a bunch of extra cameras and alarms put on the house like the same day too, just in case. And Williamson County, I told them we were leaving town, so they did like extra patrols around our house. Like they were just on it. They were definitely
They were definitely on it.
great to work with and we're proactive. And I just can't wait till they can arrest the people.
Right.
So
So there's that. But after that, we had a good friend from Upper Peninsula, Michigan that I grew up with as a child. He was my grandpa's best friend that had passed away. So 30 of my family members, us and 29 others or however, went up there to Michigan and we all took side by side. So we were leaving 2 days later. So we got a new truck, pulled the trailer with some side by sides up there and had a great time. It
Yeah.
was for a funeral.
Right.
mean,
It was sad,
that was
but
sad, but to go up there and do what we had done growing up with family,
Mhm.
riding.
Well, and it
So,
was cool, I think, because like Jesse's grandpa and his friend Doc that passed away, like this was like their heaven, like their home away from home. They built this whole life up there and like would bring so many people up there to visit and their families and their grandkids and like it's so sad they're both gone now, but like I was telling Jesse, like think about them looking down on this, and all these family members are together enjoying this place that they love so much.
right.
Like that
That's what
was
they
their
love
whole
to do.
point. Like they wanted that, and
Right.
it was just kind of cool. It makes me want to cry talking about it. But and hearing stories about Doc and like what a non-judgmental, helpful,
Hmm.
person he was. And I didn't really get to know him well. I only met him a handful of times when we went up there, and it's just I don't know. Death is always so sad, even for me, even if I don't know the person well. But it's always so like inspiring when you hear people talk about people like Doc.
Yeah. All the good he done and how he was
Yeah.
always, he never judged. Like Doc, the town in Watersmeet had a Indian reservation, and now they have a casino, but 30 years ago, the Indian reservation was really poor. So it was just like in the center of town, and it was basically just a little housing area where they, subsidized housing
Hmm.
probably for the tribe. And then they built a casino, but Doc had adopted. Oh, he wasn't adopted, was he? His dad? It
He
was his grandson
he adopted his grandson
after his
who,
dad
after
passed.
his dad and mom passed away,
Right,
who was his mom was from the tribe, so he was half Native American,
right.
but he's Doc's grandson.
So he adopted him, and Alan was Alan was given just a speech talking about how when he was a kid, he would give him, a hard time all the time going through, different trials and tribulations, and how Doc never judged him and always guided
Forgiving
him, and it was really
and
heartfelt.
encouraging, and like
Yeah,
that's just it's cool to hear those stories. And Alan changed his ways and like has a beautiful family now and was like the chief of the tribe, and it's
right.
just I don't know, shows that impact you can have on people's lives. So many people, and that's what like your grandma said, like the fact that he had such an impact on your whole family that 30 people traveled all the way there to be there to support his family.
Right.
Like
It's like 12 hours away.
that's a big
So,
deal. And it really was like such a fun time with Jesse's family. Like we have such a good time with them anyway, but like they're all like all his cousins are around our age and then their kids are all around our kids' ages. So it was just fun. And Jesse's brother came with his family. And so it's just cool to be able to spend time with everybody and like get away from here. Like I get stressed out a lot and I can't contain it because I literally am like sprinting circles in my office and house trying to keep up. And going up there, I was like, I love this. Like I've been before,
right,
but never when we've been this busy in our lives. And I was like, I see why they came here. Like I would have stayed for 2 weeks
right.
if we could have taken off work. It was waterfalls and not a lot of cell service and just the most beautiful place. It was wonderful. We had just a great time. I'm so glad we went.
It also happens to be the place that I proposed to Lesa for
That's right.
marriage at Bond Falls,
Yes.
Upper Peninsula,
So that was
Michigan.
cool.
So that was fun.
Mason was there for that, but Ethan got to go for the first time, so that was neat to go back there.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a great trip.
So that was that week. It was an eventful week. And back before I get too far away from the truck, and Lesa asked me if I wanted to get all dark and go looking for the truck or the people. I told her, I said, well, Lesa, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show. It's called My Name is Earl. And it's this guy that's like got a list of 2,000 things or people that he done wrong over his life. And he's
Hmm.
like trying to correct those mistakes. And as he goes, he helps him out and then he crosses off. He's like, well, that karma's off. I told Lesa probably about, I don't know, I was maybe 16 and I was almost 16, 17, somewhere in there. Me and some of my buddies were driving down the road, and we passed this field and we saw this little truck sitting out in the field, and we kind of talked about it. We went to this town. On our way back, the truck was still sitting there. The guy driving pulled in. They're ruckusing through it, and the keys were in it. And but since we were all together, I'm going to say we
Right.
ended up taking this truck and basically just drove the shit out of it in
Like the same
fields.
thing these guys just did to
Same
you.
thing they just did to me. So, but basically, I just crossed that off my list of karma. Whenever my truck got stolen in a field because I left my keys, I was like, well, we done that one time, so I'll cross that off. So I feel like I've repaid that debt.
When you guys did that though, so what happened with that? No one ever got in trouble for it? Like you guys just, your friends drove the truck off? Were you in your truck driving or like what was?
I was in a van, actually. It was an Astro van, and I don't know. I don't remember. We were so young. I might have jumped in the truck. We might have all took turns just,
Right.
out in the field, just ramping
And then
it
you
and
just left it
stuff.
somewhere or what?
I don't want to give too many details, but we might have took it back to this kid's house that lived with his grandma, and I don't know what he done after that. He wanted it. He was gonna chop it up or
Oh my
whatever.
God.
I don't know, but
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy you
So
were that young doing stuff like that because we have a son that's almost 16 and I'm like,
right,
he would never do stuff like that. And I just can't imagine it, the kids his age, like his little friends doing things like that. That's
yeah.
just crazy.
We were just so wild back
You're
then.
so bad.
Like, for example, I don't want to be a bad example, but my son that's 15, he's about to turn 16. He went on a date the other night to the movies, and the girl just lives from us not very far. He could ride his four-wheeler over there to hang out. And like that don't even cross his mind, Like
Right.
in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, that's awful close. He's gonna be going over there all the time. Nope, he went on a date. He's been sitting in the house all weekend.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Dude, I would be over there swimming, hanging
Pulling
out,
up.
pulling up on the buggy.
That's funny.
Yeah,
You
but
just
so the kids
shouldn't.
these days are different. I definitely would be
Yeah.
out high speed chasing, trying to show off.
Right. Well, and you were telling me stories, I think on the way to Michigan, about one of your dad's good friends who had an El Camino
Yes.
and how he would take you guys, like you and your brother, on these crazy, like max speed adventures and like off-roading in the El Camino.
Yeah, my dad had a buddy that he called the terrorist, and he was only, I think I related to him so much because I was probably 9, 4'5", and this dude was like 30, 4'5". So,
Come on.
so we were like the same size, so like we related.
He's your
But
friend.
yeah, he was my friend. But I remember one day,
Didn't your
like,
dad live on his couch? That's
yeah,
like why you.
my dad lived on his couch,
So
and
that would be like where Jesse spent weekends with dad. He'd go to this guy's house.
yeah, he would have, yeah, it was bad. He had like a wolf, like a real wolf, and he lived in Colt. So he lived in a trailer in Colt, and I'd go there on the weekends and hang out.
How
And
do you acquire a wolf? You just like caught one in the wild or what?
I don't know, but it was like a real wolf, and it was chained up
Oh
out in
my
his
God.
yard. Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was a big dog. So, and its fur was like super thick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this was back in like the 80s,
That's
late
so
80s.
dangerous.
Yeah, that's where I first, and this might be too much for the pod, but I was like, what, 6 maybe? And this,
Uh-huh.
like, I'm going to this dude's house, the terrorist, on the weekends. Well, back then, parents liked to party a lot. So they would be like in the back room of the trailer probably while I'm a little kid watching The Simpsons up in the living room.
Right. They're like having a rager.
Yeah, they're back there doing who knows what people do in the back room in a trailer, but that's what they're doing. And just looking around, I noticed a stack of nudie mags on top of the fridge. So I would go, I'm like 6, and I would go in the nudie mag in the back. And if you don't know what a nudie mag is, back in the day we had to have magazines because we didn't have phones. So like they would sell at the store these like nude magazines. So at 6, I would go to this page and it had all these little advertisements where like these little thumbnails,
Mhm.
and I would cut those out and I would fold them over and I'd staple them and I'd put it in my 5th pocket.
Stop
So I'd have
it.
my own little jack mag in my 5th pocket that I could
Oh
pull
my
out. Look
God.
at- Yeah.
So much there. Like the fact you had access to those magazines,
hmm
that you had access to scissors and a stapler and thought to do all this and no one saw
no-
you doing it.
And nobody cared that there was pages cut out.
And no one cared.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
but you know how it was. They would be like, "Oh yeah, little mag
oh,
got
they
a jack
probably loved
mag."
it.
Yeah, they loved it.
They
They're
probably
so
that's so funny.
people back then were so strange. Yeah, there was bad parenting, I would say.
There was lots
Just
of bad parenting. Even good parents, I feel like, did a lot of bad parenting. I feel like
right.
people just, I don't know what was going on in the
I think they
80s.
just liked to party, and there was no phones, so they just leave
Yeah,
us, make sure we all had a sibling that was old enough to watch us, I
I
guess.
guess. But so you were saying that is this El
So
Camino?
yeah,
Is that the car that didn't have a front seat and you'd have to sit in the back, or was that a different car?
no, this car had
Oh,
bucket
that's
seats.
right, because El Camino.
Yeah, it had 2 seats. It didn't have a bench. I don't recall this one having a bench, and I'm not saying El Camino because I don't know how to pronounce it quite right. But this car, I feel like in my mind, I remember I had two bench seats. So like, I think me and my brother were both sitting in one seat, or I was in like the center where the little shifter was. And I remember going down this road, and he's like, "You boys ever been to 100?" And we're like, "No." And he's like, and like we're going, and like we're like, I don't want to say his name. Well, he probably wouldn't care, but we're like going like 100, and I'm like, "Come on, Pat, get it, get it." And he's like 105. We're like, "Come on, Pat, you sissy, you can do it."
Oh my God.
So then he took us out to,
And like he's babysitting, like
yeah,
where's
it's
your
our
dad?
babysitter. That was our babysitter out in this like little truck car going 100, and I didn't have a seatbelt or a car
Of
seat or
course
nothing.
not.
I'm
Of
like
course
sitting in the
not.
floor. So then we went to Burr Woods, which is like an old mine site here where we live. And at the time, it had a bunch of strip hills that you could go up and down, and they had like off-road trails. And we took this car, and you like climbed this big old massive hill out front, just like one wheel spinning all the way up.
Stop it.
Yeah, so that was my babysitter.
That's
He
your
was,
childhood.
yeah. I always
So
looked up
funny.
to that guy.
He sounds
I
cool.
didn't
I
look
mean, he had a
up to
pet
him.
wolf,
Not literally, but figuratively.
but yeah, he's got a pet wolf in El Camino going
Yeah.
100 miles per hour. You're probably the coolest guy you
We
ever
should,
met.
yeah, we should have him on the pod
We
sometimes
should.
because I've seen him do some crazy stuff. One
Yeah.
time somebody broke down. I was just a little kid riding with these guys. Somebody had broke down. It was winter time and snowing outside, and I think he was pulling the broke down four-wheeler, and he was going real fast, like messing with the guy, throwing mud
Mm.
on him, and everybody's drunk and acting crazy, and they're going across the field, and the guy in the back like turned over, and the four-wheeler's like rolling and just
Oh
like
my God.
plastic flying off of it, and this dude's up there riding this big 4x4 just like getting it. Everybody's like, "Stop, stop." So he was fun.
We should have him on. I know he at least watches the TikTok clips because when we posted a clip about the Marlboro Man and you collected all the Marlboro merch and like your dad and stepmom's chain smoking, Jesse's stepmom called me laughing and she was like, Pat just sent me your clip
Yeah.
about the cigarette Marlboro points. And I was like, didn't know she was like gonna be mad about it, but she was laughing. She's like, "That's kind of embarrassing." I was like, "It's funny though. Like lots of people smoked a lot back then and did the
Right.
same thing, so it's not like they were like terrible parenting. It's
I
just funny."
now that I'm having flashbacks, I think he was like the goat of collecting stuff. I feel like he always had the
Oh,
Marlboro everything, like the whole
you got
swag.
everybody
He had
in
the
it.
little jumpsuit pants, you know what I mean, and
The
the jumpsuit,
windbreaker.
yeah, the windbreaker jacket that was like white and red and said
I can
Marlboro.
picture it.
Yeah.
We will have to have him on. I bet he's got some really funny stories.
And now you look back and you're like, God, that was corny. But like back then,
Oh
dude,
no.
I just
Cool.
smoked 2,000 packs, boys and girls.
Right.
Everybody knew what time it was. That boy's got some money. He's
Right.
smoking.
He's smoking them ciggies all day long.
Yeah.
Loving it. Yeah, those are good stories. And all these stories are before Jesse's stepmom came along. That's why they were
Yes.
so crazy.
Yeah,
'Cause
that was
Trace
before
wasn't around to
stepmama.
tame Scott and reel everything in.
Right. Yeah, I used to sleep on a lot of couches. Or actually, my
Sad.
dad would sleep on the couch and I would sleep on the floor on a
Aw,
little
of a
milk crate.
bachelor pad.
Hey, at least he would always have one of those, the like milk crate or egg crate,
Oh yeah, he'd
little
have one
foam
of
things
those.
like this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He'd always have one of those rolled up, like a little knapsack for me
Aw.
wherever I went. Get the old egg crate out.
It's just so funny because it's literally reminds me of like TV shows and movies you see from the 80s with like disgruntled divorced people. Because I could just see your mom pulling up in her sports car like, "Take the kids, I'm going out."
Oh yeah,
And your dad's
for
like,
sure.
"Come on, get on your egg crates in the trailer." Like, it's not
Right.
even my house. Like, it's funny looking back. It's sad, but it's also funny because it's so like, it's like from a movie
Right.
when you think about
That
that.
was when I was real young.
Right.
We were just talking the other day and he's like joking. He's like, I don't remember ever feeding you. I'm like, it's because we'd go to the gas station and get like beef jerkies and stuff. Like
Laffy Taffy, that's
yeah,
your
we'd like
breakfast.
live off Laffy Taffy and candy cigarettes. Give me 2 packs of the Marlboro candies and a kitty cocktail, please.
Yeah, there's no grocery shopping.
No.
That's funny.
He did make me a plate of eggs one time. I
Oh,
remember that.
he's still not much of a cook, I feel like.
No.
No. Which
Neither,
neither are you.
neither am I.
Neither are
I
you.
mean, if I
So
had to cook,
if
it's.
if we were in that same scenario, which we wouldn't be, the kids would probably also live off gas station snacks.
I don't think people ate a lot back in the 80s and
I know
90s
they were all
either.
real skinny.
Well,
Oh,
it was the 80s and 90s,
yeah,
so
different time.
disco era. So besides that, we've been doing that. We have finished up, I forgot we finished up the Murfreesboro job this year.
Oh yeah,
So we went back, finished that up, um, and we're just getting rolling now. So it's real crazy at this point in our career. Everybody's running wild.
It never
Lisa's
isn't crazy. I feel like it's, I don't know. I don't know. We probably need to add to our team. It's hard to figure out like exactly what you need and who you need in what place
hmm
to make sure things are like growing the right way. And like, I
right.
don't know. It's just hard to get the right people in the right places because it's just a lot of chaos. But
I'm getting pretty good at eliminating people that aren't in the right place. We've had some people that didn't work out, and I gave them a chance and just
and I think in the field it's so dangerous because like someone could really get killed or hurt, you know, and if you're
mhm,
not, if people aren't like aware and they're out around tractors and trucks and stuff and on these job sites with so much, you got to keep your head on a swivel and know what's going on. Like, and if you're
right.
not like on point, it's just not the job for
It's just not.
those people.
Yeah.
So,
That's about all the crazy stuff we're going to share with you this episode because we have a lot of crazy stuff. It's just we don't want to put it all in one episode because we
be
haven't seen you
alone.
in six
Yeah.
months. But on to business, we did get our IDOT, which is Illinois Department of Transportation certification for bidding as a prime contractor.
And we really shouldn't have had to do that because we don't bid on roads, like we don't build roads. But the state of Illinois, who I will refrain from talking poorly about because they hire us for jobs, um, put this that you have to be pre-certified with DOT to do dirt work jobs on not all projects, but on some and a lot of the ones
On a
that we
lot of
bid,
them, the DNR
which is pretty
projects.
crazy. So like they, even though it's just moving the earth or clearing and you're not building a road, we had to, it was a whole, which it's like one of those things even like when hurdles come up in business and it can be so frustrating and annoying and you know if you saw me during that time I'd probably have been cussing and super angry about the state and their BS, but it all is like worth it and good. So like it was a nightmare because I had to get like a financial compilation done of our books, which is like, I mean, I have a great accountant and I keep up with our books, but it's like a way more in-depth review of your books, not quite a full audit, but like halfway there kind of thing. So I had to hire an accountant from Texas to do it with me who works with our bonding company. It was just like this whole crazy thing. So it took us months because it's like there's just questions he had that I just don't know. So he worked with our accountant here who's incredible, and me and him when we got them all the way they needed to be. Um, so we had to do that for like the bonding and then for because it was like this huge application to get pre-qualified and then you have to show how much money you've done in a lot of these jobs. And up until the last like year or two, I didn't really track, like I tracked our jobs, like I knew what money came in off what jobs, but not by like the type of work. So like whether it was aggregate rock or clearing or dirt specifically, like I had to actually go back and look at every job we've done, which is a lot, and like figure out the dollar amount that's equivalent to earthwork and equivalent to putting in rock spaces or driveways or you know whatever and or clearing or drainage structures. It was a lot of time of like doing this and then you send it all to the state and then they give you a dollar amount you're allowed to bid,
hmm
which that's great. So now it actually did help because now we can bid on IDOT jobs, which sometimes aren't like building roads. It's just like drainage or
Or the slope of the
slopes.
road or road base even. Now,
Yeah,
which we were already a sub, so say
right.
an asphalt company wanted us to work on a road base, we could have,
As a
but
sub.
now
Now we can prime.
we can bid the whole thing, which we have been doing.
So that's cool.
So it's cool because a few years ago we were just doing residential work and we didn't really know much about how to bid with the state. We had done subbing, which so we'd sub for other generals, but it's a different process. We're just telling them what we think we need, and they say they wanted to go with it or not. Now we're putting in the unit prices and trying to figure it all out. So it's pretty crazy because a few years ago we'd be looking at the bigger companies in our area thinking, man, are we ever going to be like that? And now we're bidding against them
Yeah.
or even with them because some jobs we go in, with other generals, we'll be the sub or whatever, but we're definitely making a lot of connections
Hmm.
and raising a lot of awareness about who we are. So
Yeah. And
people are
it's cool
starting to
to
take notice.
like whether we win the jobs or not, it is cool because you get the bid tab to know where we are with pricing and we're really pretty close even if we don't win.
Right.
Which is good for us. Like it makes us feel good and competent, you know, just that
hmm
our bidding's in the right ballpark of everybody else and stuff, and that we're just on point with that stuff. And that's been a big learning curve for us. And finding the right suppliers and like salespeople, man, are
Right.
horrible these days. Like I used to be in sales and you freaking hustle and you get these numbers back. And I had to call this one guy like 4 times for this prices on pipe. And he still hadn't got back to me. And I called the office to ask for a different sales rep. And they're like, oh, he's on vacation. I'm like,
Right.
he's supposed to send me these numbers this week. What do you mean he's on vacation? So it's just stuff like that is crazy to me that these sales guys are so horrible. Not all of them, but a
Right.
lot are. I don't know if they're lazy. I don't know if it's because they don't know us yet, but like we're bidding the work. So give me the damn price. I don't know. It's
Right.
really bizarre. That's like little daily stressors that'll drive you crazy because it's like I have all this office work to do, but then I'm dealing with stupid stuff like following up with the damn sales guy for a price. Like he should be
Right.
on it, sending me the damn price, when it bids.
Right.
But instead we're like chasing people down for their
Which is
quote.
crazy. You think they would get some sort of like percentage or
They
whatever.
probably do. It's so
But
weird.
I also think that maybe sometimes because there's only like 1 or 2 places you can get certain materials in our areas since it's, so um,
Like
rural.
rule. Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if some of the big contractors that have been working with them
They
so
have that
long,
relationship.
they have that relationship. Hey, buddy, and they're like,
Mhm.
let's get these guys the numbers.
And not this other company,
Yeah,
which
that's fine. We'll find the right
we're coming
supplier.
for everybody, so they better
Yeah,
start giving us the damn prices.
they know what time it is.
But no, we do. We've been working with these bigger companies too, which is good, and
Hmm.
meeting lots of great people. And that's what we've said before. Like collaboration is what we're trying to do. It's like it is competition, but you can also collaborate because in our area, even the big companies like can only handle so much work and get so many workers. So
Right.
like they do have to sub, and it's nice to be able to build relationships with those people and learn from them and just show them what we could do and
Right.
look at jobs with them and
And if you've ever wanted to get in the union, now would be a good time because
yeah.
I think that the cell phones have made kids not want to do the tractors like they used
Hmm.
to. When I got in, it was like such a big list of people that you had to get picked out of. And now the halls are empty and they're just not getting the recruits that they used to. So if you're interested in it, don't be shy to go and turn in an application at the laborers, the operators, carpenters, whatever it is. If you go and show up, they'll, most likely try to find a place for you.
Yeah. And
So,
there's money to be made in that. Like, not everybody has to be an owner. That's a good paying job hourly, great benefits that they keep raising, like,
hmm
and that the employer has to pay. So it's like we see both sides of that because we benefit from the benefits of the union, but we also pay into it as the employer, and it is astronomical. Like for the employer, it's hard
right.
to pay all that stuff. It costs a freaking fortune, but we see the benefit in it
It's
too.
hard to figure up a job. Like if I'm going out of town and I can only clear in so many people,
Hmm.
I don't know who I'm going to get when I get there. So
Yeah.
I'm like bidding a job with these high labor rates that I don't know what their work is
Like
like,
what they can
what
produce.
they can
Like if
produce.
we think we can get a job done in 3 weeks, these guys might be real slow and not very competent,
Right.
and they
Take
can't move
5
like
weeks.
us.
And 5 weeks
Yeah.
compared to 3 is a big
Yeah.
change in the cost of, everyday running expense. So, but we're getting it figured out. We've got a pretty good crew right now.
Hmm.
So we just keep building on that and keep growing.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we'll get our mulcher and I can show you what it
And you
looks
can
like.
show me what it does.
It's going to be like that boat that I brought home
Oh
that
my
was real
gosh.
expensive that yeah.
The one that you're gonna redo at our old house, that boat?
Oh, no.
Oh, you mean the mini jet?
Yeah, the
Jesse
mini
worked at
jet.
Crown Line Boats back in the day, and he bought a boat once when
We were
we
driving
didn't
down the
have any
road.
money. Yeah, like it was just on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, it was like $1,000 or $2,000, I don't know, which is a lot of money, especially back then. And he's like, I can reupholster this whole thing. I used to do this at Crown Line Boats. Okay, sir. So we parked under our carport.
It wasn't as easy as I remember. I don't
No,
even think I ever got the material
you
to
did
do it.
not.
Yeah, it was like real beat up.
It wasn't a
We
good
did
plan.
spend money and got it running, remember?
No,
But I don't think we never once took it out because the
no.
upholstery was so
It was
nasty. It had like
disgusting.
trees growing in
It
it and
needed like fully gutted, but some kids bought it. They were going to work on it.
Yes, we ended up selling it to some
But
kids.
that was your master plan. Jesse's bad about doing stuff like after work because he works so much. So like it's not like you come home at 3:30 or 4 and have like a whole evening free or a weekend. So
Right,
like we're just not good at like our own projects. We kind of just got to hire that stuff out or
right,
buy stuff ready to go.
right.
We have big plans, but then
But also, like here recently, we've got a couple four-wheelers. I don't go out and buy a brand new one, which
right.
I'm not against. I would like to have a brand new one. but I can have like 10 toys for the cost of one brand new four-wheeler. I can have
Right.
like two Honda Foremans, a 300EX, and a little four-wheeler for little man for the price of one four-wheeler new. So I don't just go out and buy all new shit.
No, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's a happy middle of like stuff that needs totally refurbished and brand
Right.
new.
Yep.
For sure.
I sold my Ducati too. The
Oh,
Ducati's
yeah.
gone. I traded it off for a Honda Foreman 500 and a little Grom 125. So where my badass Ducati 939 used to sit in the shop, there's now like a little miniature version of it. It's like half the size. After the guy took off with it, I was kind of having seller's remorse looking, but
But we haven't rode, like we haven't been mopeding in a year. We just been too busy for it.
right.
We might again moped, but the Ducati you weren't really riding.
No. And the Grom, my son's about to turn 16 and he looked into it and he can get a motorcycle license at 16 for under 150cc. So he could get his motorcycle
Mm,
license and be riding that.
that's funny.
And it's a two up. It's got pegs on the back so he could tote a girl.
That's a little scary. I don't know about that. I think
It'll keep
about,
him from dating big girls, you know what I mean? Because it's a little
oh
motorcycle.
man.
Probably got a certain weight limit on it.
I think it's crazy because when I was in high school and Greg, we were real good friends with Greg and that whole crew, and they all had crotch rockets, and me and Leah and all of our friends would go riding with the guys all the time on street bikes. And I look back and it like makes me anxious thinking about us doing that because that's so dangerous. And they were so young to be driving us around doing wheelies, just ridiculous that we would go do that. Like that's so dangerous.
That is ridiculous that you would go do that.
I mean, they were good
I
friends,
agree.
but oh God, it's just terrifying. I look back on stuff I did when I was younger and I literally like, it makes
I
me
could not.
anxious.
All right. So that's about all we got for this week, but we're glad to be back. Glad you guys are joining us again. Sorry we had such a long break,
A really
but
long break.
really long break. We've got some big news. We'll share it with the next episode.
I'm hoping at least monthly. Like every other week would be great, but time-wise, that's pushing it for me because I have to be the producer of all these and edit them. So I think once a month is a more fair expectation of us.
Yeah. So we went weekly, bi-weekly, and we're at monthly now. But just as soon as we get more time,
Yeah.
we'll get back to bi-weekly.
Yeah.
But definitely come check us out. We appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, reckless success. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. You can follow us on TikTok and YouTube at reckless.success, Instagram at recklesssuccess. We're on Spotify and all major podcast services. Hit that subscribe button, please. For more information on May Excavating, check out our website or TikTok. That's a wrap. Thanks.